Chat, we exist. All right, let's move on over to first things first. All right, so you're going to see me for a second without Mac because I want to ask chat something. All right, so we know that my camera that I'm going to be using still isn't here yet, and we all know why. I'm sure the people here. But I was using my phone for the last few weeks, and I just hate taking my phone up and down, up and down. In the drawer behind me over here, I had a Samsung Galaxy S21 just kind of sitting there. It's a throwaway burner kind of a phone for me. I've put it up there, and I've got it set up, and I'm using that Galaxy S21 now. And what I want to know is, for the moment, is this camera good enough? What do you guys think? I mean, I think it's good enough. I've been looking at it, and I mean, it's not as good of a camera as the iPhone was, but I'm really sick of remounting and kind of bending everything back into place and all that, my iPhone, like multiple times a week. So I think this is good enough. All right, cool. I am glad to hear that. All right, so I have also done a lot of other fun stuff here. Let's get to this new one and see if it works here. This is me and Mac, both on screen at the same time while looking at my screen. So, haha, I got that scene built that I've told you like 20 times I'm going to build someday. So, I took the 5 minutes finally and did the thing. So, as always happens with me and technology, a couple days ago, I start playing with all of the software to multi-stream because I want to go live on Twitch, YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram. Like, I want to go live on them all at once. And I'm fighting with it because, I could pay Restream.io if I had money to burn. And, of course, I don't. So I find this, it's called Restreamer. Someone in chat actually found it. Where is it? Yeah, this thing. And it is pretty damn cool. It's a Docker image. It sits there and it just the good instructions, well done videos, the works here, right? When you look at the overview and all that, this thing's pretty cool. So it runs as a Docker image on the same machine that has the OBS running. And I got it working. It's cool. And I got my OBS connected to it instead of connected to Twitch. And then I got that Restreamer connected to Twitch so it would pass through, right? And I added all the other sources. And I did a test stream the other day where we went live on Twitch with it. And there is an 8-second delay. So when I'm using this tool, we are delayed 8 seconds from what chat sees to what I'm saying and everything. And I think 1 second's fine, 2 seconds fine, but like at 8 seconds, doesn't that make interacting with chat just way too hard? And isn't that part of the fun of all of this? So in some of their issues, because it's open source on GitHub and whatnot, people have mentioned this before, and they've said, oh no, it should be 0.3 seconds. But no one has given a fix for why it's 8 seconds. And I have found other people at the 7 or 8 second mark with complaints. Complaints is a strong word. This is open source free software. This person's awesome. I appreciate what they're doing. But I've posted an issue. I'm hoping to hear back. That's where I find myself after, hours of playing with this thing. And I love the tool. Then I move on to playing with Atom. What Atom does is this thing allows you to have a second set of scenes in your OBS that are vertical and are linked to your horizontal scenes. So if I switch from my starting soon to this scene that you see right now with the two of us, it would switch the vertical one from the starting soon video, which I have made vertical versions of all of my videos you can see here. Here they all are, all the vertical versions of them. It would switch from that to the dual camera one if I've built out that vertical scene and connected it. So this way I can have it automatically recording, and then I can take that content and easily repurpose it for all the other platforms, YouTube Shorts, TikTok, all that type of stuff. And I'm playing around, and it's great. And it has a streaming feature, too, where your main OBS can be streaming to whatever it's streaming to, say Twitch, and this could be streaming to, say, TikTok or Instagram. But both TikTok and Instagram no longer give out stream keys. Both of them stopped about 6 months ago, so we're kind of late to the train. A lot of people who have stream keys, it works for them still. They haven't turned it off, you just can't get a new stream key. So instead, you have to go live on TikTok on their web interface and then use a virtual camera and blah, blah, blah. By the end, you've taken like 10 extra steps to accomplish the same thing because for some reason, they don't want you to use stream keys anymore. I don't know. So I got to there and I was like, fuck it all, right? Just, I'm going to move on. I'm going to spend the weekend building out my vertical scene so I at least have that part done. And then literally, like, an hour later, I'm done with all this, but because I'm using it, I followed them on Discord and on Twitter, and they put out this literally an hour into it. A tweet that says, thinking of changing the multi-streaming game Friday, you in. Now, this is their tweet, but on their Discord, they specifically tagged it with Atom Vertical Plugin. So everything I was working on could have a solution tomorrow. I don't know. But like it always happens that I'm working on something big and hard and technical that isn't totally solved yet, unless you want to spend a lot of money. And then like a day or two later, of course, the solution actually comes out after I put in all that effort. So, if this follows the same pattern, this is going to be exactly what I needed all along. And it just made me go through all that work for no reason, which is just literally, this happens to me at least 4 times a year with technology and putting time into projects. So it's almost like I call the new technology into existence by doing this. Not that I believe in any sort of powers like that. Just it's hilarious that it is a repeating pattern that never ends for me. Mac has seen this over the years as we've done many things where we'll be, a week or two into working on a project, and then the thing that we needed that was holding us up this whole time just comes out, like just because.
Yeah, I couldn't even name the number of times that it's been. I've come in one day and you've been like, oh, by the way, I just found this thing that was released last night that does the exact thing we've been working on for the last month.
Yeah. It's just mind-blowing how many times this happens to me. I have no idea what's going on yet. So that's my last few days. I'm getting progress done on things. I've got some more of the wiring cleaned up around here. I've got a little more done over on Mac's desk. So he now has a boom mic similar to mine, but he's got one of the overhead kind of ones. Which will help with sound for him, I hope. So I want to see what that's doing. How loud do you sound in the mic without me talking?
I don't know. How loud do I sound, chat?
Let's put you back down to where I am.
Oh, yeah, that's probably a good basis of comparison, huh?
All right, so here we are both at the same level.
Okay, so how close? I mean, it sounds pretty similar to me, but I don't know if I'm getting the same balance that chat is.
You might be. I mean, it's coming from the same device. I would hope it's similar.
Yeah, but
but there's a lot of software involved in between here and there. So, chat, is this mic loud enough? Are we good? Yeah, so that's what I've heard too. And so I never worked on building my TikTok, so it doesn't have the followers. So I just reached out and said, hey, my Twitter has 100,000. Like, I would like to build on TikTok, but I'm not going to if you don't give me my key. Let's do it a little. There we go. You're up just a little, Mac.
Cool. Hopefully that's close.
So maybe they respond and, give me what I asked for. We'll see. I've got a support ticket with them. I have no idea how long support takes with TikTok, but I'm going to imagine with like 1 billion users, it takes a while. Who knows? But yeah, then let's move on to some things. This is, there's all kinds of good and bad news this week, but this is my favorite thing I've read all week just because it's hilarious. This was posted yesterday by VX Underground. So ALPHV is one of the ransomware groups out there really, kicking some ass. And like they are just getting into anything they want. And they are not just threatening to release your data if you don't pay. Now, the SEC rules have changed in which once you've noticed a breach, and I believe down here someone talks about it, But yeah, a material breach, meaning you've judged it to be serious and not just they got onto one of my servers and then we caught them and they never did anything, but they accessed customer data, something that makes it a material breach. You have 4 days to tell the SEC that this happened to you if you're, one of a million different companies that has to deal with the SEC and certain SEC regulations and filings. So ALPHV now has taken Meridian Link, someone that they ransomwared, who didn't pay and wasn't negotiating. And here's their screenshot of them filing a report at the SEC on them for not disclosing. So now the new threat from the ransomware actors is not only do you owe us money, but if you don't work with us and come to an equitable solution, we're reporting you to the SEC for everything.
I mean, I guess technically you can get around that by just, following through on the requirements to report to the SEC, but
the requirements are also about reporting to your affected customers,
yes.
Users and or investors, depending on what type of, company it is. And that's the thing that a lot of these companies don't want to do.
No,
they don't want to tell their customers or their investors or anyone else that this happened to them.
But that's what really makes it a hilarious threat. Is it's only has teeth because of the fact that they don't want to disclose this information to the people they are legally required to.
And don't take this as support for the ransomware gangs. A lot of them are bad. A lot of the money goes to the worst of places. But when you just look at this and you take a step back, you can laugh at this. This is funny.
This is just hilarious.
Funny. I mean,
That does not mean these are, good people or that we support them or anything, but this is funny.
Yakuza is corporate, exactly.
Yeah.
This is, and people are talking about how the policy isn't even in effect yet. If you look at this, the policy goes into effect at the end of December, middle of December. Yeah, December 18th. There you go. So, that's not the point. The point of doing this is to tell everyone that while it might not be in legal effect yet, we're only weeks away, and this is how we're going to act from now on.
Yeah, this is what you can look forward to.
This is just an announcement. This is almost like a press release.
Yeah, I was just about to say, it's like a press release.
Yeah, so this thread is amazing. I mean, this is Natural History Museum worthy stuff. A pro gamer move. Everyone in the thread is just, most of these people do not agree with the ransomware companies themselves, especially the groups that, hit things like hospitals and whatnot. Like, you can't be happy for a lot of their actions, but this is funny.
Yes.
There's no doubt about this in my mind. This is just fucking hilarious. So this is my next favorite thing from this week. LeVar Burton was a host of the National Book Awards yesterday, and at the awards, he said, quote, "Before we get going, are there any moms for liberty in the house? No? Good. Then hands will not need to be thrown tonight." I love LeVar Burton. I have always loved LeVar Burton. In that big vote thing for Jeopardy, I voted LeVar Burton. I have been a fan of his since I can remember. Everything from Reading Rainbow to Star Trek. I mean, even Roots. I mean, literally, I have been a fan of LeVar Burton. And this is just, yes.
I mean, yeah, I like how you named Reading Rainbow, Star Trek, and Roots. Yeah, I'm sure there are people out there that aren't fans of those. Not like those are extremely popular or anything.
Yeah. Totally all this obscure media I'm into, I just thought this was wonderful and should be blasted everywhere.
I have to admit, I was a little surprised. I got to the good in his statement, and then it changed a little bit from the direction. He's the Reading Rainbow guy. I didn't expect talk of violence. I expected him to be yeah, no, they aren't very big fans of reading, are they?
Yeah. And then, of course, this week, Rivian bricks the infotainment systems on many of their EVs with an OTA update over the air, meaning completely remote updates to their cars' infotainment systems, and many other subsystems that can be updated over the air that the infotainment system then controls. The cars are technically drivable, although all of your gauges and all of your screens, which, your gauges are screens now, everything is off and broken. It's bad enough that they've said it probably needs to be fixed in person, and they can't OTA this one because the system that handles receiving and executing over-the-air updates, well, it's bricked too right now. So the fat finger part of this statement is hilarious to me because what they're saying is someone just pushed the wrong build, and that it was a build that went out with their internal testing security certificate and not the public validated security certificate, which, would work here. So that says a lot of things about, the fact that one person with no checks can just kind of hit a button and all your cars update. Like, that process needs to be fixed. There are multiple steps here in that process at any other company, or at least, smart competent companies, where you hit a button, someone else then validates what you've done, then someone else says, okay, this is going to people's cars who might currently be driving. Let's double check. Okay, great. No, we're good. Okay, now it can go out. For them, someone fat-fingered an update that bricked a bunch of cars.
This is such an incredibly damning omission, and it seems like the fact that they made it suggests that they don't understand just how damning it is.
Well, exactly. Both Alistair and Homie there, that system should not exist. No. And the fact that it exists that way means that, I can fully expect that ransomware is going to be hitting some of these cars soon. Mm-hmm. It's not like their systems are known for security. Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, internally in the car, it should get the update and say, hey, that's not a valid security certificate. Right? I'm not going to start the install. Instead, it gets halfway through the install and then just, decides to freeze and then never recovers. And all your screens are bricked. Okay. So that one just blows my mind. But now we're going to move on to the most wild ride of a Today I Learned on Reddit that has ever happened. Because this was posted.
It is a wild ride that you'll get to the end of and be like, yeah, no, in retrospect, I should have seen all of this coming, I feel like.
I just never saw this.
No.
This is from forever ago. It's 8 years old, but I just never saw this one. So check this out. The singer of Peanut Butter Jelly Time died in an 11-hour police standoff, during which time his brother-in-law, Snoop Dogg, attempted to calm him down and surrender. What?
There's no part of that I would have predicted, but I feel like I should have seen it all coming.
I saw someone post this in a Discord saying, I think I found the most wild sentence ever constructed on Reddit. And I went and looked at it, and this is just all kinds of mind-blowing. Who knew the guy who did Peanut Butter and Jelly Time was Snoop Dogg's cousin and that they were close?
Yeah, right?
What?
Yeah, what part of that would anyone have guessed?
I mean, if you want to stay on Snoop Dogg news, the craziest lie I've ever heard happened today.
Yeah?
Snoop Dogg has put out a press release today and done an interview where he states he is stopping smoking weed.
So purely vaping and eating it, huh?
Well, I guess nothing I saw. Huh. Yeah, you could be right. He said after a long conversation and talks with his family that it's time for him to stop. And so he is. Man, that's wow.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That is just nuts. I think that's absolutely crazy. I know things are just going off the board here. So this one's funny to me. So Apple announces RCS support is coming in the iPhone next year. This one is really funny to me because RCS is what Android uses for what used to be called MMS, multimedia messaging. Sending videos, clips, doing things like reactions to messages, editing messages, all that. RCS is Android's version of iMessage, but it just isn't as complete as iMessage. iMessage does a lot more, is end-to-end encrypted, and blah, 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 blah. iMessage is better than RCS by leaps and bounds, but RCS is catching up and is getting closer. And RCS is an open standard, and so the GSM, International Standards Board is behind it, so anyone can implement it. So it is still a better solution than a closed solution, right? So a phone manufacturer named Nothing the co-founder of the OnePlus phones, started this one. Announced over the last couple of days that it will be introducing iMessaging, iMessages to its Android phones that come out. And it was documented how they're doing this. There is this company called Sunbird who have data centers full of Mac Minis. And when you try and do iMessaging, it routes through a Mac Mini, logs you into actual iMessage, and just kind of does the work there for you and then returns it all to your phone. So it's like a proxy through these data center Macs to get you onto iMessage. And that's a lot of work and expense.
That is just the hackiest solution, too.
It is so much work and expense. I bet they put a lot of money into this.
Oh, yeah, they have.
And the next day, Apple says, oh, yeah, we're going to introduce RCS next year, which means, that you could get all the features that you kind of get at iMessage on now both. And the whole blue bubble, green bubble thing will kind of be a thing in the past when this is implemented correctly. So Nothing just did all of that work and announced this awesome feature. And then, nope, over. Never mind. So this thing they put all this time into is only going to kind of be useful for months. That really does feel like an Apple move.
Yeah.
Like we are not going to implement RCS until... Yep, nope. Someone got iMessage working on Android. Okay, cool.
I mean, I wonder what the odds are that they've had like a dev team that's had it ready for months and is just keeping it updated with the new versions of iOS. And they were just waiting for someone to be like, all right, we have a solution.
That is Apple's average.
Yeah.
If you remember the Intel to, or the PowerPC to Intel move, they were like, oh yeah, we've been compiling our OS for the Intel chips for 2 years now. We've had everything basically functional, just ironing some stuff out. But yeah, we've had the team up for a while.
Ironing some stuff out, by which they mean waiting for someone else to announce they were working. They had something ready.
Right. So that is their average. Needing to stay hydrated here. All right. Yeah, so the announcement timing, I mean, you cannot tell me that's accidental.
Yeah, that does not seem like a coincidence at all.
Another one that I found funny yesterday it happened. Ninja leaked his Twitch earnings, and I think this video is hilarious. Let's see here. So that was up for a few seconds, showing the last 30 days, $142,000. He did not mean to show that at all. That was definitely a mistake. I did just figure out that we are not... There we go. So now you should be able to hear.
Knock or spectating? You want to make a bet?
You guys are a little sneak peek at the TTV earnings this month, guys. I just pulled that up real quick.
Did you leak your dashboard?
I did just leak my dashboard.
You could tell that's like a nervous laugh.
Yeah.
Like, I thought that was just hilarious, personally. Yeah, I mean... They try so hard not to, and we got like the Twitch leaks a couple years ago, and those were hilarious too. But I mean, if you guys want to know my dashboard, I made $68 in the last 2 months. I think Ninja's beating me by a couple percentage points. Like I'm catching up though. Yeah, no, good for him. I mean, whatever, right? But I just think it's funny that like the look on his face was like, oh, why? Yeah. So I want to show you guys something that I did over the last couple days. A lot of people are working on and playing with these new custom GPTs, right? The OpenAI Dev Day announced that you could make your own bots and introduced a system to build them. And my very first thought was, what would I possibly do with this? And then the next day I started using one of them. So if you look at the videos on the GreggHoush VODs channel, you'll notice that they now all have, at the bottom, a text summary, but they also have the chapters, the timestamps, which YouTube actually noticed and built chapters for. This right here with an actual understanding of what's going on, the right timestamps that work, was done in this chatbot. This chatbot is called Video Digest. And you literally put in, can you summarize this video for me with a link? And it does the work for you right there. And it doesn't matter if it's, these are 1.5 hour long videos. So at first it gave me a slightly quicker one, and I was like, nah, I don't want it like that. Can you do it a little farther apart, time gaps? And then I still wanted it a little farther apart, and I wanted the whole time period. So in the end, it broke them out into pages because it was so long, and I said, get rid of the pages and headers, and then boom. This entire interaction took me about 3 minutes. And it had the full 1.5 hours broken down into the chapters that matter for that. And they were right. I mean, if you click on those links in those things, like that's what's happening at that time. So I went through and did this to the current new live streams. I'm going to go back and do this to all of them from the previous live stream too. And on my main channel, I'm going to do it to all of the old podcast episodes. Because why not? I mean, YouTube loves this shit. It gives you more keywords. It gives you more search accessibility. But what I wanted to show this for was, like, as people think about what to do with these types of custom GPTs and what you can build with them, like, I just wanted you to see an example. Real world, I'm using one of them, and it's helping a lot. This saved me so many hours. I probably wouldn't have done it if I didn't have the tool, just because of how many hours this right here would have taken me instead of 3 minutes per video. I was 1.5 hours in when I was finally done, and the first half hour was just playing around with the language I used to talk to it until I got it down to a science, and then just pounded through them all. So if you guys wanted a real world example of using one of these new custom GPTs, here it is. I'm doing it, and it works great, and YouTube loves it. There are tons of these things that do all kinds, but right now, that's the one I needed. There are website design ones. There's a new one now that uses GPT-4, GPT-4 Vision, and Figma, which is a design tool people use usually for like user interfaces and whatnot, where you can draw in Figma and then pass it through this custom GPT that uses GPT Vision, and it'll output what you drew as a Tailwind CSS component in HTML and in Tailwind. That is just beautiful. Like, it's surprisingly good. You can like almost sketch the damn thing and then turn it into your shapes. And thank you. Thanks for the sub there. And you can do it in your shapes, and then boom, you've got your Tailwind CSS component. And when you draw it in Figma, you can draw these things in like 20 seconds, and then just copy it over, run it through, copy your code out. 1 minute later, the component's already done. And if you want it responsive, you literally just put this little green circle in the top corner, and it knows that means you want it to try and figure out how to make this responsive. And so it's a responsive component. It's fucking crazy what these things can do. I am truly getting scared by these things. I was talking to a friend of mine this week, and I haven't actually talked to Mac about this one, but yeah, I think you'll find this interesting. We were talking about, it's a friend of mine who's in the AI space, about LangChain. And LangChain is a tool that allows you to chain responses from LLMs, from GPTs. You can chain them on the same one. You can chain them to different ones based on context. So, like, you can ask it a first question and tell it this is the GPT you talk to first. Then you can say, when you get a response, keep talking to the same GPT with the response, or now take the response to this other GPT, right? So you could ask GPT-4, which is really good at generating prompts. You could say, I need a prompt that does X, Y, and Z in some kind of a programming space, right? Like, I need to program an app that does specifically these things, and they need a prompt that will really make another LLM give me that code better than you. And then you can have LangChain go through that a couple times and take that and then pass it off to the new model that's now out and open. It's a Chinese model, but it does English or Chinese. It's called a DeepSeek Coder. And then it writes way better code than the others. It's a 30B parameter model, and you can download it and run it on your own machine. And so you can LangChain from one to the other. And then out the back of that one, depending on what kind of code you're asking for, like say it's C or something, You can have that chain into, there's a couple new modules that will allow LLMs to control virtual machines. So imagine that maybe you did it with containers or something, a Docker compose. You could then have it like write the code and then spin up a Docker and then, or a virtual machine, depending on what OS it needs to be run in, compile the thing, run it, see if it gets error codes, and then start the chain back over with those error codes. But all of the LLMs keep the context window they're in. And so with this thing, you could have it like debug itself until the code works right too. And we were going through it for one of the projects he's working on, and he's now putting this together. So like in a couple days, we'll have this tool that you tell it what code you want to write. It generates the prompts for the actual stronger code-based LLMs. It then compiles and tests the code. So we took that and we expanded on it to... what if you were trying to write a piece of malware, like fuzzing almost, but with LLMs, and you had a basic structure for code? So you could feed in the basic structure of the code, what shape you want it to be. Where the exploit is like an open hole in your code, right? Maybe it's some kind of a memory exploit or something. And you could have it, if you knew what response the operating system would be giving, or a command that could be run after the exploit that would tell you that the exploit worked, such as a privilege exploit, where you escalate on Linux and then you type ID and see your root, right? You could make the LLMs continue changing the code until it finally gets that and just leave it run in the background with LangChain. So that's kind of crazy. Well, I am lucky someone else pays for a GPT account that I get to use. So I don't know if it's worth it because I'm not feeling the pain of paying for it. But I do use LM Studio locally because this machine right here has a 3060 Ti in it. And while that's not the best for doing this stuff, a nice high-end 4090 would be a little better, or say 5 of them. But... with LM Studio, which does work on Windows, on Mac, or Faraday, which I think runs on both too, you can run all these things locally. You just have to have a good enough GPU for it. Although Faraday actually works really good on Macs with the M1, M2, M3 chips too, so you could run that there. So if you wanted to, they've got really good interfaces. If you look at LM Studio, it's really cool because it's got like... the models are almost like extensions or plugins to an app where you go to a window and you can see them all listed and you can click the download and then you get a progress bar. Then suddenly that model is now available with all of the default configurations and it comes up and looks like ChatGPT, but with that model. So LM Studio is pretty cool. And all these are free too. So like go play with them. But you can do that all with those. They're graphical, they're simple to use. You don't have to go figure out all the command line stuff. You don't have to figure out getting the Python modules all functional. Just download LM Studio and you're good to go. So that's kind of all the fun stuff, I think. I don't think there's much more fun stuff to really talk about. I mean, George Santos today, right? Let's get right into it, guys. So the 56-page ethics report comes out. 56 pages back. Mm-hmm. I believe, I think this article might say it, or one of the articles says there are 23 federal criminal charges in the thing that they've pled or something like that listed in it in 56 pages. Absolute insanity. But that's not where it gets real insane, because after this all happened, Santos first said he's not going to run for re-election because of what this is doing to, him and his wife, right? But then he followed that up by screaming, this is now, the time is now for the states to rise up and commence an Article 5 constitutional convention. He wants, because of the unethical attack on him, as he puts it, a constitutional convention to rewrite the Constitution because he thinks he was unfairly treated. I don't think we want that, guys, just personally. There have been moments when I've thought it might be necessary, but right now the majority of state legislatures is actually right-wing, and so let's not open that can of worms for the moment. Give it a few years. The youth aren't going to vote for them anymore, so yeah. But that's Santos's response to all of this. We, the people, desperately need an Article 5 constitutional convention. I don't remember the exact numbers, but isn't it something like a certain number of the states have to call for it to actually happen?
Yes, as I recall.
Wasn't the number low too? It was like 13 or something.
I don't believe so. I believe it's. I want to say it's similar to the number that's needed for a constitutional amendment.
Okay, yeah. So
double check on that though.
This is crazy talk.
Yeah, on the application of the legislatures of 2/3 of the states.
2/3. Okay, so they need a supermajority, basically. So Santos is going to be gone. Now, they have stated they are going to write up the paperwork to have him expelled too, but that's not done yet. The report just came out today. So now what I'm waiting for is this man said he would go scorched earth on the right-wingers if they did this to him. He said he was going to tell all their dirty laundry.
Yes, on the other hand, he said a lot of things.
Yeah, my problem is he's not a man of his word.
Historically, he does not have a great track record for telling the truth.
I think I'm hoping for something that's never going to happen. But I really want it to happen.
Also, even if he started like spreading supposed dirty laundry of theirs, could you believe it? Like he'd need to provide actual evidence backing it up.
Exactly.
Yes.
With all that coke that Elon Musk showed everyone how to make through Grok. That was the craziest tweet. What is even going on there? He even gave them like the low quality version of the freaking formula. I don't know if you saw the Grok AI that Twitter has now.
I did see that, but I didn't see this specific story.
Someone challenged him to things in the responses, and so he responded with an answer to their question about cocaine, and he asked Grok for how to make it, and it gave him the full step-by-step, including all ingredients. And he posted it to his 160 million followers, as if that was the right move. Yeah.
I mean, he also endorsed the Great Replacement on Twitter, so...
Sure. He does a lot of bad things there. But the problem, surprisingly, most people had in the response to him posting that wasn't that he had just posted that, but that it used gasoline where it should have used, I believe, acetylacetate if you wanted the higher quality stuff. And it was kind of funny that that's where the responses were. Like, they were all like, come on, what are you doing using... I mean, sure, the gasoline one works, and it's what a lot of people do. And I'm just like, that's not the...
Is that really the problem you have with this?
Is that the problem with this? Or, I mean, I guess, I am for Portugal's method of dealing with the drug problem, so...
I mean, yeah, but it doesn't... The fact that I might support decriminalization of drugs doesn't mean I necessarily think it's a good idea to, be broadcasting how to make
just right to 150 million followers. I mean, we know 100 million of them are bots, but still. Well, yeah. So the fentanyl thing. We talked about it a little while ago, but I still think it's really interesting that the cartels themselves now have started enforcing a no fentanyl rule. Under the threat of death, if they find fentanyl going through their networks and getting into their drugs that are then crossing the border into America, they're going to find the people who did the cutting with fentanyl or contaminated it and kill them. They've said that they're sick of their clientele dying. So now we're at this weird point where the government of Mexico can't do anything about it. So the cartels have stepped up and said, we're going to be the good guys here. Again, it's such a confusing world we live in.
It really is.
Now, again, the same thing. Fentanyl just came up again with the whole Xi Jinping meeting with Biden and them talking about, stopping the shipping of it and the materials for it, out of China. So it doesn't seem like it's us having much to do with the stopping of it. And it's more the authoritarian dictators and the cartels trying to stop it. Weird world we live in.
Yeah. Yeah.
So then we get to the latest news of the day, which is the Brett Hankison trial over his charges of course, murdering Breonna Taylor came to a mistrial today. as the jury could not come to a unanimous decision. The judge and the prosecutor so badly did not want this outcome that when they came back with a hung jury and said, we cannot come to a unanimous decision, the judge then gave them what is called an Allen charge, which is basically telling them to go the fuck back in there and try again. But in this case, the judge is allowed to, change the stipulations of what you're actually trying to decide. So in this Allen charge, he said, okay, you can now just decide if one of the two charges is good and come back with at least one of them. And they came back pretty quickly and said, nah, we can't decide on one of them. Literally, like either of them, none of them. Nope. And the judge looked at prosecution, who then asked for another Allen charge and said, we got to reword this again. And the judge just said, I don't think this is going to work. They're going to come to the same conclusion. They have all the information that they had before, so mistrial. What this means for people who don't, understand exactly what that means is not that it's completely over, but it's back in prosecution's hands, and they can decide to retry this. Because this trial did not finish with any kind of an actual conviction or release, it was undecided. Double jeopardy doesn't play here, so they can retry him for this charge again after they go and say rework their evidence. They have not said they're going to. They have just said we're going to be looking into it. I would assume the prosecution doesn't like losing this kind of a thing, so they are going to be looking quite hard into it. But I would also assume that everyone involved wants this to go away, so I don't know that the charges come back.
Also, while prosecutors do not like to encounter a hung jury case, it is very common for them to look and be like, well, we presented the case. I don't think we could represent it in a different way that would get a different verdict from the jury, so we'll just give up on prosecuting it. That is pretty common.
So it is quite likely that the case is over now, that this doesn't get brought back, and that good old Brett Hankison, who is a lying liar that lies, fucking pig, is gonna just be off and free from this. The state charges he was already acquitted of. That's why the federal charges were brought, because they felt that was a travesty. So they say, could have just been politics for all we know. Good old press coverage. But it looks like he just gets to go home now, and it's just over. And this is not justice, and this really sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, absolutely. No justice, no peace, and a fucking bootlicker on the jury. The evidence shown was so clear. Like, he lied in his state one, and it was absolutely proven that he lied. And then he brought the same lies to his defense here, which is where he was standing, where he thought other gunshots were coming from before he opened fire, that he was right next to the window. But the crime scene photos of where it all happened show that the bullets that were ejected from his gun, the casings, are all behind a vehicle in the parking lot, because he was standing back there, not right by the window where he could see gunshots like he says he could. And somehow the jury still hung.
Yeah.
But I don't get it, man.
Americans are shockingly pro-cop under, the most ridiculous circumstances, which is part of the reason that police so rarely get held accountable for things. Even when it goes to trial, they often get acquitted, no matter, almost without regard for how strong the evidence is against them, just because some bootlicker on the jury is like, no, police, they said they did everything right.
Yep. Whew. So that is what I brought to the table tonight. What do you got, Mac?
All right, so...
what did we miss? You start that. I'm going to be right back, chat.
Sure. So I guess while we're talking about police misconduct, there's another story we should probably talk about. It's one that I've actually been keeping something of an eye on, but it didn't necessarily... We didn't have a huge amount of details about the scope of things necessarily. This is about a story out of Kansas. Some of you may have heard. A local paper that is it's the name of it here? The Marion County Record for Marion County, Kansas, had its offices and the home of its 98-year-old co-owner raided by police a while back under the pretense of a computer crime investigation. And then it turned out that, the whole thing was the local the local PD, specifically the chief of police, Gideon Cody, wanted to get revenge on the paper for investigating his background because, he had a history of misconduct. Basically, his estranged wife supposedly tipped off the paper about the prior records. It started with a local business owner who was seeking a liquor license, and the paper was tipped off by her estranged husband that she had a record of prior arrests for DUI and driving without a license. And then when the paper tried to verify this and used a third-party site to look up the arrest record, the police, who is, shall we say, connected with this business owner, decided that this use of a third-party site constituted identity fraud and computer crimes. And so the chief, who did know that he was also being investigated by the paper for past misconduct, generated some warrant affidavits and got a warrant from a judge who also had a history of DUI arrests. And then after the whole thing came out, it turned out that the local attorney, the county attorney, said that they hadn't reviewed this warrant request and they were going to look into it. And now that I've looked into it, clearly this was not sufficient. And how did they get this? Well, it turns out that subsequent investigations have revealed that basically every level of the Kansas government knew about what was going on, knew that the police were lying out their asses, knew that there was no actual basis for a warrant, knew that there was no actual crime involved, and didn't care, signed off on it, and then just lied to the public about their own involvement. And that includes the Kansas Bureau of Investigation, who are the ones, now investigating the raid. That's their supposed, independent investigation. This is serious enough that when this story came out, the police chief actually resigned rather than defend this, which a police officer resigning their police chief, no less, resigning their position over misconduct. That tells you something about how bad it is. But the Kansas Bureau of Investigation was personally thanked by Chief Cody for its support during the investigation and raids. The Kansas Bureau of Investigation, as I said, but also the Kansas Department of Revenue, the County Sheriff's Office, the Office of the State Fire Marshal, the County Attorney, and a magistrate judge, all of these knew about what was going on and then tried to pretend they had nothing to do with it afterwards and that they didn't know what was going on. And of course, the co-owner was 98 years old and died the next day. That was one fun one. And of course, now they've reviewed the warrant, they're going to return everything. So, no harm, no foul, right?
Yeah. Yeah, except for, someone died over the literal amount of stress you caused someone at that age.
Also, this is, outright this is police intimidation, harassment. It is every kind of official malfeasance pretty much that you could name, except for, I guess larceny, since they're returning the stuff they stole. But that's a story I expect we'll probably hear some more about. I expect there are probably still more details that we have not yet heard. And I expect that the Kansas Bureau of Investigation will continue to try to cover it up.
Sounds about right. And sounds exactly, like cops gonna cop.
And also, speaking of cops gonna cop, there was, of course, another protest in Atlanta this week to block Cop City. And, as usual, the police used tear gas, flashbangs. They generally just assaulted the protesters and then just outright lied about what happened repeatedly. And also, mind you, this was just a regular protest. And what was the police response? Oh, they brought out full-on riot police with the shields, tear gas guns, dogs, a tank called the Beast. They had officers with automatic weapons whose uniforms read sniper. And then as soon as the first line of marchers made contact with police, the officers started aiming the gas canisters and flashbangs. And then they started shooting at the clearly identified members of the press who were on the shoulder of the road. And, of course, the police chief, Shearbaum, told the public the police had kept the city safe from dangerous people who were, quote, prepared to do harm, prepared to do destruction, end quote. So, the usual police being violent against protesters and then lying their asses off about the whole thing.
Sounds about right. We, for anyone who's been paying attention to what's going on and all that stuff, this is the average.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, on a related note of that, I had some notes to compare and contrast two different protests. I was actually going to originally talk about this a little later, but I feel like it's relevant enough to this subject of how police handle protests. So, yesterday, there was a protest at the Capitol, a pro-peace rally in favor of peace in, Palestine and Israel. And of course, as usual, the police deployed riot cops, maced peaceful protesters, shoved them down staircases at the Capitol. So those are like stone staircases, and just generally assaulted them. Then they accused the protesters of being violent because the protesters had gas masks because they knew the police were going to, pepper spray, mace, otherwise gas them. And because the thing that they were doing was blocking the entryways, and therefore they were violent because blocking an entryway is inherently violent, even if you don't actually use any force, apparently. And then, of course, it was violent because after the police assaulted the protesters for long enough, some of them fought back. So that's just par for the course. And of course, if you looked at the media report and they were like, oh, violent rally at the Capitol and blah, blah, blah. And we don't know who, as far as I know, because it hasn't been reported, at least so far, but some anonymous shithead Democratic congressman told Axios that it scared them more than January 6th, was just, fuck you.
Yep.
What a douche. Like, what a blatant lie. We've seen footage of what Congress looked like when January 6th was going on. No, it didn't. Some peaceful protesters blocking entrances didn't scare you more than January 6th, you liar. What the
So I've heard that the pro-Palestine protesters there had bear mace and pepper spray and were using it on the cops. This is what I've heard from multiple people. Mm-hmm. I have not seen one shred of proof. So by all means, if anyone out there has a picture of this actually happening, I would love to see it. Because right now, I think that's some propaganda.
Yeah, it's certainly not unheard of for protesters to bring their own pepper spray and sometimes spray back, but I wouldn't trust the cop's word on it. Let's just say that. But, as I said, I wanted to contrast that with another rally See, the day before, the March for Israel was held in Washington, D.C. to show, shall we say, unequivocal support for Israel. And in fact, it had attendance from members of Congress from both sides of the aisle. Chuck Schumer was there, Hakeem Jeffries was there, Joni Ernst was there, and Mike Johnson were all there. They weren't the only ones speaking there, though. Another person was there speaking as like one of the invited speakers, John Hagee, who I'm sure some people probably recognize that name. I'm sure some people do not. But John Hagee is rather infamous. See, he got his start in politics. Well, obviously, he's a evangelical preacher and holds all of, the usual horrible evangelical views. He was famous for blaming Hurricane Katrina on God's punishment for New Orleans hosting an LGBT event. But he's also got his start in politics in 1968, supporting ardent segregationist George Wallace.
Of course.
Also, though, you might be surprised that he was invited or even allowed to attend this rally, since he has a bit of a history of being incredibly anti-Semitic. He claimed that Hitler came from a line of, quote, accursed, genocidally murderous half-breed Jews, end quote. Said that the persecution of Jews throughout history was due to the Jewish people's disobedience of God, said that God sent Hitler to help the Jews return to Israel, and has claimed that Jewish bankers control the U.S. economy. Democratic members of Congress got up and attended this rally with this guy. But the pro-Palestine rally is the anti-Semitic and problematic one, huh?
Mm-hmm. That's absolute insanity.
And I mean, there's even some liberal Jewish groups spoke out against it. J Street tweeted out, quote, a dangerous bigot like Hagee should not be welcomed anywhere in our community, end quote. So, like, true. Yeah, no, 100%. They are no arguments there. But like, this is what they call the peaceful pro-Jewish rally, is the virulent anti-Semite, anti-Muslim, anti-LGBT, just hateful shitbag with members of Congress from both sides of the aisle there. And then when people actually, do a nonviolent protest that in the process blocks entrances, that's scary and violent. And obviously that needed the riot cops.
Of course. Absolutely.
And just the this is just what happens consistently. These, we all see this every time, especially anyone that's been part of protests knows this is true. If you go to anything that's perceived as left wing, it is like riot cops are going to be there. The cops are waiting for any opportunity or excuse or even the slightest pretext, even if they have to manufacture it, to go after the protesters violently. Absolutely. And then like the most hateful bigots show up to like espouse terrible things, and no riot cops going after that rally. Sometimes the riot cops are there, but they're always there to protect those rallies. Neo-Nazis are protesting on the Boston Common. You can bet the riot cops will be waiting there to go after the counter-protesters. But I guess that's and while we're talking about cops, another story out this week has to do with the Santa Ana, California City Council. A local police union has spent more than $660,000 on a campaign to recall a progressive member of the council, Jesse Lopez, mostly because they're upset that, first, she voted against the police union's demands for pay raises. And then they also got backed by some other groups, So she's angered, the property and landlord groups because she supported a rent control law. The National Association of Realtors Fund has supported it. But the reason it's in the news right now is that a California state judge dismissed efforts to halt the recall vote. There was a local who had, voted for Lopez in the first place, but was suing because the terms of the recall petition, the recall effort, excluded their current residents. So they, despite having voted for this person in the first place, they couldn't participate in the recall.
Interesting.
There's once again the usual sort of cops going after anyone that doesn't just knuckle under.
Okay. Sorry, something's on my screen that just I am wondering about. Okay, I'm going to switch to my screen chat. Where is it? Okay. Have I just not been paying attention? Is that Tim Pool?
Wait.
Chat? Is that?
That does look like Tim Pool.
Because I don't remember that being Tim Pool. He was pretty fit last time I saw him in person. I'm not fat shaming or anything. I'm just literally wondering, like, if I go to an event and I see this guy, is that Tim Pool? Okay. It sure as hell looked like him, and I was like, wait a minute. What is going on?
Yeah, I'm not sure
wrong?
the last time I've seen him below the neck. So, he could have gotten that big, and I might not have caught it. Yeah, that's true. This does not appear clearly bald enough to be Tim Pool.
So I wanted to go back to this point because I did go and pull up the actual tweet from Snoop Dogg himself. And similar to a major family tragedy, he actually says, "Please respect my privacy at this time." It is that big of a deal. So, I wasn't lying to you. He's really like, wow.
Yeah.
I also wanted to go here. So our favorite politician, good old Ponies himself, Vermin Supreme, has been asked to join the lesser-known candidates debate in New Hampshire this year for the first time since 2012. I've been invited to go, and I might be able to make it. We're waiting to know what date and time it's going to be at. I've also been invited to go up as him and a little merry band go around, to the various events that the candidates have and ask the hard-hitting questions and have other such fun. I might be doing that too. I'm waiting on some timings and whatnot to find out if I can make it work for me. But if I can, I might also live stream some of that fun. So stay tuned for hopefully that sometime in a few weeks. That could be hilarious. I love Vermin. I am not a libertarian by any means, but I love Vermin.
I mean, to be fair, Vermin is a libertarian socialist, not a libertarian, not an American style libertarian. So it's kind of amazing that the Libertarian Party even tolerates him. I know
it's a lot of fun. Watching their version of tolerating him too is a lot of fun. I thought chat might like this, so we'll see if I can figure all that out. I'm going to work on scheduling it, and we'll see how it goes. And back to, I don't know, where is the button for that one? I'll get used to where these buttons are, so I don't have to look over. The point is, I should just be able to, but I'll get there. So, So anyways, back to what we were talking about.
Yes. So I guess one more story about law enforcement while we're on the subject of that. So on Monday, federal agents raided the Los Angeles area home of an FBI whistleblower who claimed that the Bureau and especially the higher-ups thwarted an investigation into Rudy Giuliani. So the whistleblower, who's an agent named Jonathan Buma, said that Giuliani may have been compromised by Russian intelligence. And so his house was searched for more than 6 hours, confiscating all of his digital media, computers, watches, for him, his wife, his children. And apparently the warrant said that they were looking for evidence that he had violated laws against unauthorized removal of classified documents and unauthorized removal of national defense documents. And his lawyer says that they didn't turn up any classified material and they only seized his own whistleblower complaint, which is not classified. Obviously, you can't always take someone's lawyer as telling the entire truth, but it would be very weird for them to come right out and say that in a situation like this where, if it's not true, we would see an indictment directly to the contrary. But as the lawyer says, it seems to be that it's designed to be in retaliation for the whistleblower complaints. It's very heavy harassment. He's also been shunned and attacked by fellow agents. In recent weeks, someone put 3 to 4 foot long plastic rats next to his cubicle at the FBI.
Wow.
Yeah, so apparently the FBI really doesn't want any sort of whistleblower saying things about their refusing to investigate Rudy Giuliani.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
And homie, I'm sure they'll go back next time and actually find stuff.
Right. Sprinkle some crack on it.
Definitely.
And, I guess not exactly not police related, but still sort of on the topic of law enforcement or criminal justice. So back in 2018, Colorado changed its constitution. It went from reading, quote, there shall never be in this state either slavery or involuntary servitude, except as a punishment for crime whereof the party shall have been duly convicted, end quote. To, quote, there shall never be in this state either slavery or involuntary servitude, period, end quote. You'd think that would be pretty straightforward, right?
Sounds acceptable.
Intended to stop the forced labor of prisoners.
Yep.
Well, it turns out that they didn't stop. They just, the Department of Corrections basically just ignored the change to the state constitution. Since 2019, the year after the amendment passed, more than 14,000 prisoners have been written up for failing to work. Hundreds of them were reprimanded, including being assigned more work or losing other privileges. So that tells you what the Department of Corrections in Colorado thinks about their state constitution.
Yeah. I mean, we need massive amounts of prison reform in this country.
Yes.
I mean, the laborers out in like San Francisco, the ones that came out of the prisons there that were getting paid, what was it, like $1 per hour doing hard labor? Mm-hmm. Like that, no. There are really good groups working on prison reform, but we're nowhere near getting anywhere worth talking about yet on any of those points. I would look at people like the 10 Demands group. They've got a lot of stuff going on. We interviewed a couple of them last year, or no, not last year, in the last version of this thing, which was like 2.5 years ago when we did that one. Awkward and I believe Patrona. Those two were awesome. I would go back and look at that if you want more information on that type of stuff. But having been through prison and seen how a lot of that goes, not a fan. The idea that you either don't use them as labor or you pay them properly should be pretty simple, because your sentence should not involve forced labor. These are not gulags.
No. And the worst part is you can find public officials just kind of coming out and saying the quiet part out loud. For example, in Florida, a former county commissioner told the Florida Times-Union on the topic of prison labor, quote, there's no way we can take care of our facilities, our roads, our ditches if we didn't have inmate labor. We could not tax our citizens enough to replace the value that the inmate labor contributes to our community, end quote. Like, oh yeah, we need to have the slaves because, we couldn't afford all these things otherwise. Like, really? That is basically shockingly similar to the excuses that the Confederates used for preserving slavery. And maybe if those prisons would be too expensive otherwise, you're imprisoning too many people.
Yeah, how about just close down a bunch of them?
Yeah, maybe release some of the non-violent offenders, all those people on drug charges for possession and stuff. But no, apparently we would rather just have slaves so that we can imprison more people.
Yeah, absolutely right, Wizard. It is there with a carve away, probably specifically for this.
Yeah, basically.
I'm sure the people writing it were like, yeah, we're going to have to allow that prison stuff to get through. 100% agreed with that. Did you see the stuff about IBM stopping its ad campaigns on X?
No.
Have you guys seen this yet? I'm going to switch to the Mac and MeCam box here. So Media Matters put out a report where they showed all the anti-Semitic and pro-Hitler stuff that goes on Twitter these days that is, completely unmoderated now and allowed to go through. And then all the ads that appear right next to it. So in here, there are these two specifically that show very pro-Third Reich and pro-Hitler statements right next to IBM ads. And of course, IBM's response today after this comes out is to stop all advertising on the platform. So X has lost another big advertiser, which is a good thing for them to lose. But if you look at this, like here's Oracle next to another one. Here's Xfinity next to this fucking asshole. Here's Apple right next to this one. So I think this is great call-outs here to get these things done away with. Good job, Media Matters. Mm-hmm. Yeah. There's a bunch of reporting on IBM suspending the advertising afterward.
I do wonder if Elon's tweet actively saying that the Great Replacement is real might possibly get some more advertisers to reconsider.
It should.
It should.
Will it? I don't know.
Yeah, I didn't want to put much confidence in that because, well, I know how these things go. But it is the sort of thing that might just have some impact.
Yeah, absolutely. IBM had literally no idea until that Media Matters report came out and kind of put it right in their face.
Of course.
Definitely.
Yeah. No, it's not like they're paying any attention to these things.
No. They just say, get us this amount of, this amount of return for this amount of money, and we're good as long as you keep those numbers up. Mm-hmm. And they don't pay much attention past that until they get called out on it.
Pretty much. Yeah, that's generally how businesses work.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, removing the content is better than removing the ads. Sure. But since the content isn't getting removed and instead getting boosted, because all those people are just paying for the premium version of Twitter that allows you to, it boosts your what is it? They call it reply boost, which is just a dumb name for it, because all it really means is more of your actual followers get sent the notification that you've posted. It's dumb. But they're boosting it instead of, fuck social media entirely. I agree. I have enjoyed watching some people around me working on their Spacehey pages, as I think it was, it's an homage to the last OK social media. If you guys haven't seen Spacehey, you should definitely take a look at it. You might remember this look and feel, but Spacehey is a MySpace clone that is totally now and obviously cool new people. 4chan, not the best look on the front page, but as people sign up, they just pop right up. But like if you just go look at people's pages, you can literally set this stuff up. You can do the same thing that you could do on MySpace. You can edit your CSS to play around with it. You can change all the look and feel. If you want your MySpace Tom, it's actually this guy, Anne. This is the MySpace Tom of Spacehey. As you can see, has 787,000 friends. So if you guys want to go back in time and play around on your own MySpace page, Spacehey is up. It's good. It works. Lets you do everything you could do back then with all the same ways of posting, all the editing your page, learning CSS like a lot of people did from it. This is as far as social media should have gone, period. The end.
Yeah.
Everything since then has been horrible.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Everything since then has been horrible. Oh, there are so many early 2000s emo layouts. I have seen some crazy stuff on there in the last week as I've looked around. You could change the mouse cursor. Yes, you can. You can do literally everything you could do on the old MySpace on this thing. It is like a really, really good, clone. It lets you do all of that. I have been thinking about setting up a page on here. Definitely. Let's see if, see, like, look at this. Look at this. Here's someone's page. I'm going to bring it up here. There you go, guys. You remember this? This is current. This is some kid's page on their Spacehey. Vampires, HMU, hit me up. Yes. This is, just... this one hurts my eyes. Yes, it does have a music player in it, and you can make it autoplay music.
Black dress with the tights underneath. I got the breath of a last cigarette on my teeth.
But I do not want to get DMCA'd or copyright struck or anything, so that's all of that song that's going to play. But yes, so you guys want to go back to MySpace days, spacehey.com is up, is a quite vibrant community, lots of people on it. I think it's hilarious, personally.
Yeah, it's pretty funny.
It does have their version of MySpace Tom. The only person to run one of those types of sites and cash out and disappear correctly.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's not actually a bad idea. If I make one of those, I should sign up and do the create it on a stream. I like that.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. That, you know what? We're gonna try and fit that in next week. See, that is helpful. I need more of that type of stuff. It doesn't require the basic HTML and CSS, but if you have it, you can do the exact same thing you could back then, and you can make it all pretty and everything. It just brings up a CSS editor and literally lets you go wild with it. And there's very few banned things in the CSS. Most of it's about executing things that you're not supposed to, bringing in outside content from offsite that it doesn't want to allow. But yeah, there's so many GIFs and auto-playing music and everything else on there. It's great. I love it. Right, just link the $1 million webpage. That thing was brilliant. The old times. The only old website that was ever necessary. We all know it. We all love it. You all remember it. Now the question is, does it still exist? If I go here...
Welcome to ZomboCom. This is ZomboCom. Welcome. This is ZomboCom. Welcome to ZomboCom. You can do anything at ZomboCom. Anything at all. The only limit is yourself. Welcome to ZomboCom. Welcome to ZomboCom. This is ZomboCom.
Okay, we don't need all of ZomboCom, but the fact that ZomboCom still exists really makes me happy.
Yes,
I should reach out to him. He was one of the early Anons, and also a bunch of other things I knew way back when. I haven't said hi to him in like 5 years. I let so many relationships just kind of hang out there. I should definitely say hi to Zombo. That guy's awesome. Yeah, so for a little while there, it was redirecting over to like the zombohtml5.com or something like that. And then they brought that in and upgraded it. We could do a lot of nostalgia stream stuff and going back in time. I do find it funny when people talk about like their nostalgia and the old days, and they bring up things like YTM&D and and all those, and I'm like, those were 20 years after I started using the internet. Those aren't the old days. What do you? And then I just remember, oh yeah, I'm old. Yeah. I was early. I've been doing this too long.
Like, you're not talking about like BBSs or Usenet
right?
groups or something.
Yeah.
It's not the old days.
I did get into an argument with someone about a Usenet group the other day. They brought up alt.wesley.crusher.die.die.die. And I had to complain that Wesley Crusher was my favorite Star Trek The Next Generation character. And that I hated those people. And nobody agreed with me, which is what I'm used to.
Yeah, I can't imagine why.
Yeah, I just missed the 1200s too. So yeah, I went quickly up the chain though. I ended up on dual ISDN lines relatively fast, mostly because of all the piracy. It was good times. It was good times. Okay, yeah. You know what I want to do, chat? I want to play some games. I think we should start doing like parts of the streams where we just go through like Wordle and all those type games together. Mm. So I think we should play some games together. So, strange thing, chat. I played my very first game of Wordle 2 days ago. First time I'd ever seen it or played it. I'd heard about it a million times, of course, but first time I played it. So I still have no idea what I'm doing. But I do know, as I understand it, the correct thing is always to start with that word. From every streamer I've ever seen, that is how you start, right? I don't know what a second word is, though. I don't know where to go from there. I don't know how to do this. So what's the next word, chat? See, this is what I meant by playing together. Synap? Nope.
I don't think that's a real word.
Not a word. See what you did there, but not a word. Right, I already got rid of 2 of the vowels. There's another one of the vowels, and oh wow, we're missing all kinds of letters. What else could we do? How about that one, chat? Oh, the T is where it goes. We know that much. All right. With what's left, where are the vowels? This, the only vowel is U, and it ends in T, chat. What? Okay, I have... Yeah, no. Oh, yeah, because it has to end in T anyways. But I did, rule out some more letters. Holy Jesus. What are we doing here, chat? Are you as bad as I am at this? I have no idea at this point. Yeah. It has to end in T, though. I know that much. J U S R U. Like, I'm just, yeah. Like that, but we know the E isn't good, but does that knock out any more letters for us? Okay, so now we have UST. Yeah, look at us, chat. We are, see, this is a hard one today. Really, with penis, for some reason, you normally do get like 3 letters. Boom, chat, you did it. Look at that. Alistair coming up with the answer at the end. 1 guess left. Boom. I always forget that you can use the same letter twice. That's the thing that's been killing me for the last couple days.
That makes sense.
There are a million games like this, though. How about this one? What country is this? Do we have any idea what country that is? I'm going to say Malaysia. I am 10,000 kilometers away in that direction. 10,000 kilometers away. Let's go.
Denmark?
Whoa. No.
Yeah.
It thinks this is a password entry screen. We got a lot closer, right? We got halfway there. Yeah, actually. So Denmark. That's got to be it. Yeah. Oh, Mac with the answer in 1. Look at that. Okay. This one is interesting. This one's called TRADLE. And it shows you what the country's exports are.
Oh, boy.
And you've got to guess what the country is.
That's a
passenger and cargo ships. I always just want to say Rotterdam at that point.
Let's see, copper ore.
But where does copper ore come from?
Bananas,
and some bananas.
Argentina, maybe?
Ooh, that's a good guess. There is a lot of copper ore coming out of there.
Yeah, I mean, it's bananas and
so
copper ore.
5,000
I do think
that way.
Oh.
I mean, let's just go China just to get over on that continent and see what it says. Woo! Huh? What? How do those 2 arrows make sense? Do I not?
It's got to be northern. No, it can't be northern hemisphere because bananas.
I'm just going to put Netherlands in there and see where that does to us. Okay, so now we're going back down that way. Oh, a lot closer. How do you go northwest of Peru and still be on land? I mean, unless it's Mexico.
2,000 kilometers.
Right? We're gonna try Guatemala because chat said it. Let's go. Oh, Panama.
Wow, really? 2,000 kilometers?
2,000 kilometers away from Peru? That's crazy to me.
Yeah, that is significantly.
We need to get this thing to do miles so I can actually tell what's going on. I'm an American. I got it right yesterday. Today I'm not doing so hot.
I am surprised that copper ore is that much of a percentage of their exports.
These games are fun. All right, CONTEXTO. This game sucks, but I actually like it, but it sucks. Are you ready for it, guys? If none of you have ever seen this, you just have to type in a word, and then you know how close you are to the word you're going for, and you keep doing that until you get the word. So it's like music. We are as far away from anything as you could possibly be. So far, the closest thing we have is work. Qualm. I mean, that actually got a lot closer. Red. Apple. Ooh, I'm getting really close. Okay, just for context, that's guess 10, and I'm that close. I've never gotten it in less than like 70 guesses, so we're on a hot streak right now. Fruit is closer. So strawberry is the closest we've gotten so far. Huh. I don't know. I like these games to kind of like in the mornings, like usually, to wake up to a little and get the brain going. Are they really doing cranberry because it's almost Thanksgiving? Nope. Okay, good. Okay, so we've got fruit. I'm just going to type in another color. Ooh, holy crap. I meant it as a color, but I guess it's also a fruit. Mango? Tangerine is one away. How close are we? No. Tangerine's the closest we've gotten so far. We are really close. What the hell is this thing?
It's a Tangelo.
I highly doubt
I agree that it's probably not, but it would be funny if it was.
Yeah, it doesn't even know the word. Whew. Okay. We went fruit, strawberry, mango, orange, tangerine. What is... Oh. No. I mean, Trump would be hilarious, but I mean, it's way over there. Dude, tangerine. How did we get this close and now we're failing?
Yeah, right.
Because we got here quick. 20 guesses is fast for this game. I've watched other streamers play this one, and it's usually 50 to 70 before they're there. Let's just see if lemon is close. Lime is close. So we are right around this thing. But tangerine is somehow the closest. What is like an orange or a tangerine or a lemon or a lime that we have not? We are going to guess that just because. No. We're gonna do the mutant. Nope. No lineman. Grapefruit? Boom! Vassar with the win. 25 guesses. That's easily new record for my account. Although I do think I got close enough on my own, but you guys were right there. That guess of red was just, that's always the first color I go for. Just random. You said grapefruit? Oh, you did. Oh, heck, all the things. I missed it. All right. Yeah. All right. Fair enough. You get that one. Let's go. Framed. This one is interesting. You get 6 guesses, and you've got to guess what this movie is based off of this frame. What is this movie? Chinatown. Red. We are nowhere near this thing. I cannot zoom in. That is not how this works. We can skip to get another frame. Ooh. So we're looking at 80s cars. Oh, I need to zoom in. There we go. Yeah. Let's skip to another one. I do not know that man. They have done an obscure one, haven't they? This is definitely not Big Trouble in Little China. No, that one I would have guessed on the first picture.
Yeah, I probably would have gotten that one.
Yeah, they have done a couple Asian movies on this that I just didn't know. So we're just going to skip and see what this is. As Tears Go By. Yep, never heard of that one. What a bunch of bastards.
I feel like I've heard that name, but I've certainly never seen the movie.
Okay, this one is funny. It's the box office game. All right, so this is the weekend of March 30th, 2012, and this is the box office. And we've got to guess what these movies were. And what we can do on this one is, one, we can just guess a movie. We can start typing. But we can also click on this, and we can waste these points, these 200 points, to buy pieces of the answer. And then at the end, whatever points we didn't spend all the way down, tell us how many bonus points we have. So like for this one, for the top one, we're just going to give us the tagline. May the odds be ever in your favor.
From 2012?
Is it the first Pirates? Which one was the first one? On Stranger Tides? Curse of the Black Pearl? Which one was it?
I think Curse of the Black Pearl was 2 or 3.
Oh, yeah, Hunger Games.
Oh.
Just the first one, right? Yeah, see? And so we get 160 points for that one. And then based on that, sometimes you're like, oh, yeah, these movies were out at the same time. So you can just go through and what's the tagline on this one? Feel the Wrath? Who's the actor? Sam Worthington? What? None of this helps. I do not Google while I'm doing this. I might... Liam Neeson. Was this the first one?
Was it?
Nope. But you can miss up to 9 times. It wasn't Taken. What else was Liam Neeson in?
That's a good question. 2012.
Not this one. I'm not going to get. I'm going to reveal all of them and waste the points on this one. Perseus tries to live a quieter life in a farming village. Is this the Percy Jackson one?
Oh.
Is it that one? No? The hell is this thing?
That's not the remake of Clash of the Titans, right?
Yeah, could be.
I didn't see the remake, so I don't know if they changed how much they
Nope,
changed.
Not that. Fantasy Adventure, Ralph Fiennes, Liam Neeson, Perseus. Man, that one I don't think we're gonna get. That one we get the big X. Wrath of the Titans, not Clash of the Titans. We were close.
That does make sense, though.
All right, what do we got for a tagline on this one? The Snow White legend comes alive. Oh, what is this one? Winter something, right? It has Hemsworth in it, doesn't it? Yeah. And the Huntsman, that's the one. No. What is it just... Nope, it's not either of the 2 Huntsman ones. The Snow White legend comes alive. No, I don't know who Lily Collins is. We might get in low points on this one today. After she spent all her money, an evil enchantress queen schemes to marry a handsome, wealthy prince. She's just one problem. Snow White launches an epic battle. Julia Roberts and Armie Hammer were in a Snow White movie? What?
Yeah, I don't recognize.
Okay, this one I don't recognize at all, chat.
No.
Nope, never heard of this one.
It does not ring any
Mirror,
bells.
Mirror. Nope.
Huh.
I'm a history of film nut. I have way too many things on my Plex server. And I've never heard of that. What the hell? The only thing getting blown tonight is their cover. Well, then, what a tagline.
Yeah.
All right.
2012.
Jonah Hill.
No, that was
This
later.
is the what do you call it? 21 Jump Street movie.
Was that 2012?
Yeah.
Wow.
Boom.
Man, I'm getting old though. That's longer ago than I
Right.
remembered.
And then what else? Meet the original force of nature. That tagline does nothing for me.
Yeah, that does not help me at all.
Let's go for an actor. Danny DeVito. The fuck movies was he in?
In 2012.
Like, I mean, I go all the way back and like watch Twins if I
yeah,
want DeVito
right?
in a movie. Like,
Seriously.
what is this? The Lorax.
Oh, of course. Yeah, that in retrospect, that does make sense.
That is absolutely it. That is my high score. My average is 222. I've only been playing it for 2 days, of course. But this our high score. How about GLOBLE? All right. This one is similar to an earlier one we played where Argentina was one of our guesses. Holy crap. I've never had it do that before. So normally it tells you your X distance away, but it turns red and says closest border 0 miles if it's one of them. So
Well, that narrows things down quite a
not
bit.
Brazil.
That leaves 2 options to my recollection.
It is not Chile. It is Chile. Oh, okay. Wow. Well, I was going to ask for some help on that one, but just because Argentina was earlier, I put it in first because it was on the top of my mind and it was right next to it. Like, the reason I typed in Turkmenistan earlier is because Turkmenistan was like 2 days ago. And like that one took me like 10 guesses to get to.
Yeah, that's not easy.
That was a hard one to get to. Here are another one here called FlikTok, and it's similar. We get images here. SF Chronicle in a thing. This is the killer. Zodiac. Right?
That might be Zodiac.
Boom, in one. Easy. Mm-hmm. This is how, see that movie one, like this is how I normally do on the movie ones. I should not have, that level of knowledge in my head. It's wasting a lot of space. This is a TV show. Is it Yellowstone? Because, it's Yellowstone. See, I'm just so good at this. Damn. Yeah, the TV and movie ones, I usually get that fast. I shouldn't, but I do. Where's the other one I liked? There's one really cool one. Guess the movie. 1 second. Okay. That's because I was zoomed in. All right. So the way this one works, it's going to be harder for you all on stream, I think, is I hit this play button and it condenses the entire movie into 1 second. So we get 24 frames of this movie really fastly in 1 second. You've got to guess. Now, I played it for the first time 2 days ago, and I got it in one. My first guess with 1 second of video, the movie Project X was the answer. And it was his little Jewish friend in the movie who's all blinged out and going on TV for a second. And then the Mercedes car going into the pool were 2 of the frames that stuck out to me. And I was like, no, I know that movie. I don't know that, we're going to be able to do that this time because I've only played it the one time. But I do also want to put this in the list. All right, so we're going to click play here. And I have no idea. I saw what I think was Julia Roberts.
That does.
But I'm going to do this just because, Do I get... What is this? Watch the 2-second... Oh! See, since I got it first time, I didn't see this part. Now we get to watch a 2-second clip. Yeah, so that didn't help.
Yeah, it did not particularly help.
Star Wars: A New Hope. All right, let's see if we get it better this time. Nope. That see.
Let's see what.
I thought for a second there I saw Fassbender. Ooh, Signs is a good guess. Yeah. Here we go with maybe our last one. No, this one's too hard, man. Too hard. Or is it just...
Yeah, I don't know if
It doesn't have Jerk? It doesn't have The Jerk as one of the movies you can choose.
What?
How dare it? I don't know this movie.
Yeah,
at all. This one's kind of crazy. All right, here we go. I'm just trying to pick out actors, but you
get such a brief view of anyone.
No Country for Old Men. Let's go. Oh, we get a 6-second clip this time. As if that's our problem.
Yeah, it was made in Georgia, I can tell you that.
No. This is Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure.
Clearly.
The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It. I have never watched any of these stupid Exorcist movies or remakes or extensions or whatever. I hate them all.
Yep.
So, anything like that, I am definitely going to fail at. I'm never getting any of those.
I just want to say that I really hope that the day that they do Fight Club, the clip is nothing but the frames of porn that are spliced in.
Right? Oh, yes. I don't know. I like these kind of games. The first one, if you guys, someone asked, As Tears Go By was the thing. Is that what you were referring to? It did look like something worth watching. And if it's one of those older ones, but it made it on here, then yeah, that makes sense to me. As one that maybe should be watched. But yeah, anyways, I love playing those games, guys. So I think we should totally play those just as kind of a way to wind down at the end of streams now. And they happen to happen every day, so we'll always have new ones. Whew. So here we are coming up on the 2-hour mark. I think that's going to be it. I have a bunch going on for the next couple days, so there won't be a stream tomorrow or Saturday, but I am considering doing another Monday one. I kind of like the idea of setting up a Spacehey page and trying to make it look good while on stream just for the hell of it. Tomorrow, I'm going to be looking at the ATOM update, whatever that is, where they said multi-streaming is suddenly going to be revolutionized. We'll see about that. Who knows? I'm looking over at the OBS right now, and over there, I've got the vertical plugin in place. It's ready to go, so I've got a lot to do there anyways. So part of my weekend's going to be creating all those vertical scenes. So when I do find a way to go live on things like TikTok, Instagram, anything else that's that format, that vertical format, we'll have that ready to go. I might do a stream or two where I'm just on one of those platforms and we're playing around with the vertical stuff. For anyone who wants to come see them and kind of, figure that out, I'll post in the Discord when I'm doing it. For all I know, that's sometime early next week as well. If anyone else has any cool stream ideas, of course, I would love to hear them. I'm going to do back to this one because, yes, it is always the most complicated part of this, coming up with all the ideas for what to stream and what to stream while you're streaming. But I'm going to take a note. Monday. There we go. I have taken a note. Thank you, chat, for that. So, that is on another screen entirely. I can't see anything. There we are, and there is chat. All right. So, another thing I'm doing just on a personal front over the weekend, I have about 2 hours of videos of people using Obsidian to get their shit organized. And I'm going to be going through all of that, trying to learn how to use all the pieces of it to come up with it's a little free form, so you can kind of come up with your own way of using it. And people have templates and things that they use to organize their day in it and whatnot. And it just looks like the right solution to me. This could be, of course, and probably is the ADHD brain thing where I come up with a new tool every time to solve the problem. But again, some of my friends who have this problem have stuck with this one, so we can hope. I'm going to be playing with that one. That'll also help me getting my stream organized a little better, getting things like that done. Other than that, does chat have anything else they want to talk about before we end it here? There's a few minutes before we're at 2 hours. So, yeah. What are we thinking about right now? What do we got going on? Sports? I mean, it was funny watching Draymond Green put a chokehold on Rudy Gobert the other day, but for people who might not remember, you can't really encourage basketball players just putting the others in chokeholds when they disagree with what's going on. But for Rudy Gobert, there should be an exemption. He should have been allowed to do that because the beginning of the pandemic, Rudy Gobert is the NBA player who didn't believe, bought into the conspiracy theories, and went into one of the interview rooms, took the microphones, coughed all over them on purpose, and laughed and walked out. So I think he getting chokeholded the other day is totally fine and should happen again. So I think that's well deserved. I will show off if people will let me. Maybe. Because right now, my team is in yellow here in the Fantasy Football League, and you'll notice my 10-0 as I crush these fools. I'm currently winning, it would seem. And in this week's live scoring, I am 94% win probability. So I should be 11-0 at the end of this. So if anyone, cares about that, which I doubt anyone does, but I'm enjoying the hell out of it. I do love my fantasy sports. Why, oh, why? Oh, yeah. I think you all will appreciate, even if you're not into sports, the name of my fantasy basketball team, the Flint, Michigan Tropics. If you've ever watched the Will Ferrell movie, Semi-Pros, the name of his team in the movie. My current matchup right now is I'm fighting the only guy doing better than me in the entire league. If you look at the scores, his 951 to my 856, but my 856 is literally better than the rest of the entire league by far on most of them. And I'm just getting torched by the only guy doing better than me. So, that is what happens. I do think the matchup tonight, I have a good shot of winning this one. Because as you can see, I am catching up. That's my points today. That's his points today so far. But anyways, yeah, I do love my fantasy sports. It gives me another little thing to kind of, focus on. They are all for money. I have put $20 into each of them. Some of them have pools of literally like that Star Wars one. I'm going to win, I think, $500 when I win that one. Yay. And it looks like I'm going to win that one. I don't know if you guys saw that, but I'll at least split first in the basketball one too. So I do love the fantasy sports. For anyone wondering, how I do it, mostly I guess. No, there are a lot of stats included and all that. There's a lot of math to winning fantasy sports. And so that's, I think, why I do decent at it, because, the other people can't seem to be asked to go through all of the stats and realize that, well, this guy averages more points. He doesn't against the team he's playing this week. So put in the guy that averages 10 less points a game, because for some reason against that team, he averages 20 more points a game. I don't know why. He just does. He likes kicking their ass or something. You got to dig through the stats to really build your teams. So yeah, I do love my fantasy sports. I do have fun with all that. I don't think Mac here does any of the sports related stuff or really cares about any of that.
Yeah, the extent of my interest in sports is when I am actively participating in a sport.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Did you ever play in any of the early capture the flags that we did? As Anons there on the in Copley?
Yeah, we did. There was, I think we did a capture the flag with squirt guns on the common.
That was fun. Yeah.
I know we had squirt guns on the common. I think we did capture the flag that day.
The picture of me that appears in all the places whenever it's on a wiki, the one that's like licensed for all of them to use, where I just look like a complete idiot running, is actually during a game of Capture the Flag. And, just to brag for a second here, we played in a 5-week kind of setting. We played Capture the Flag 3 times as Anons just doing like post-protest hanging out and having fun. And in that game alone, there was a 5-2 score, and my team had 5, and I had 4 of the captures. I get way too competitive. I don't know that it's that I'm actually athletic in any way, but I have some kind of a serious problem with not winning. So much so that my body just overcomes it and does the damn thing and wins. And then I pay for it afterward because I way overextended myself. And for days I feel sore as hell because I did far too much. We had a lot of fun. So if you guys ever see that image of me running in the little blue hoodie that just looks like utterly stupid, I think it's funny as hell that that's the one that everyone keeps using. That's why I've never offered them another image to replace it or anything. That is me currently just about to score my fourth point there. I was running towards the flag and about to grab it. So yeah, good times. We used to have a lot of fun with that stuff. Mm-hmm. Now I'm so injured and beat up and old that I could never. My knee would not let me run on an uneven ground like that ever again. Whew. Okay, so I think that's the show, guys. Yeah, wow. There we go. We broke 2 hours. That's kind of my goal for these ones on Thursday night, seeing that we just get there. I am going to hit the button to send us off, chat. It has been awesome. This will get posted, next day or two on the VODs channel if anyone wants to go back to it. And I'm going to work on getting the smaller ones done. You will notice that my various things like YouTube Shorts, Instagrams, and TikToks are all getting new short stuff uploaded over the next couple days. I scheduled, I think, 10 of them out. Yeah. I like it. So I'm going to try and get more of those going, as that seems to be the way you build following. So we're going to try that stuff. Once I get a little more kind of comfortable with the new setup and I feel like, the camera is how it's going to be, the vertical stuff is working, the multi-streaming is working, and more just everything is how I want it to be, then we'll work on getting some guests. I do have people kind of, I don't know how better to put it, lining up. I've had a couple professors reach out who want to come on, one that just released a really interesting book that I'll want to talk about. So he might be my first guest when we come back. But it's about, elections and about systemic racism and their effect on it and all that. It's a really cool setup. So I think we're going to have some cool guests. We're also, of course, going to have our standard, some hacktivist fun guests and things like that. But that's us. That's it for the night, everyone. Oh yeah, we should probably raid someone, right?
Yeah.
Who do we raid, and where's the button for that? The button for that is an airdrop with a parachute. Okay, cool. Raid ending with Ollie. All right, chat, that's the move. I'm gonna hit the button. We're gonna do what is it? Ending with Ollie. Boom. Let's go. All right, I'm muting us, and see you next time, chat.